The movie starts with a team of professional vampire hunters staking out a farmhouse in Mexico. Jack's got word from his employers at the Vatican that the location's a nest containing multiple bloodsuckers. The slayers perform their hunts in the daylight after first gearing up and receiving a blessing from Father Giovanni. Jack's best friend Montoya stays outside with the priest and a winch as the rest of the team make their way in with stakes and spears. During their search, Anthony discovers a corpse that's been bled and cold as described by Jack. They're suddenly jumped by a pair of vampiric goons that can be held back with bullets, though it doesn't kill them. Using his crossbow, Jack hooks the female like a fish and radios to Montoya to activate the winch, dragging her through the house and out into the sunlight. The second has an inexperienced member of the team stake it in the brain before Jack shows him how to aim for the heart. They spend the entire day rooting out the nest and exterminating a total of 9 vampires, which Monty takes the skulls of every single one as a trophy. Afterwards, Jack's confused as to why they didn't find a master vamp amongst the weaker goons, but with the sun quickly setting they end the hunt and take off. The reason they couldn't find him is that this master cunningly digs himself a hole outside to slumber underground. The hunters go to the aptly named Sun God Motel to celebrate their victory with a slew of local callgirls. Gio informs Jack that the Vatican has transferred their earnings but wishes to speak with him personally in the morning. The hunters are treated by local police like criminals and keep no secrets from the public that they slay vampires, as Catlin casually explains to the girl on Montoya's lap. As the night goes on, Anthony gets rowdy enough to throw a lamp out the motel window, while Jack makes plans with Katrina to meet up in his room later. Just like Jack worried, the master vampire has tracked them down to the motel. Valek's more intelligent than any master they've faced before him and begins by going after Katrina as a possible appetizer for what's to come. He drinks her blood from her inner thigh while giving her the curse of immortality. As Catlin goes outside to drain the lizard, he's met at the door by the master, who using his fingernails as a blade slices Catlin in half from the belly up. Valek then proceeds to viciously slay Jack's entire intoxicated team, as well as anyone else with a heartbeat in the room. During the massacre, some slayers are brutally killed in full view, while others like Anthony are just slapped away and never seen again. Valek calls Jack by his full name, somehow already being told about the hunter, when Gio attempts to help with a shotgun but has the master put it under the priest's chin and pull the trigger. With the bullets doing nothing and unable to land a stake on him, Jack and Montoya are forced to flee and take the bitten Katrina with them to locate her master later. The master easily catches their truck, but Montoya puts a bullet in his head, knocking him back, giving them enough time to survive until the sun begins to rise, when a truck parked in the middle of the road causes them to crash into a ditch. The three are just shaken up, and when Monty says to ditch the girl, Jack describes her as a surveillance camera that'll allow them to locate Valek when she turns. So they stagger down the road to the nearest gas station, where Montoya casually approaches a stranger and at gunpoint takes his car, allowing all three to travel back to the Sun God. They argue about their roles, as the Slayer's rule number 6 is to never bury a team member alone, but Jack tells Montoya to take Katrina to a hotel nearby while he deals with the dead. To prevent his team from returning, Jack runs a stake through every heart before beheading their corpses and putting the heads in a bag. He burns the bodies and motel down and buries all their skulls deep within the earth nearby. By the time he's finished, the sun's set and Montoya's just arrived at the Plaza Hotel with Katrina. She's tied to the bed naked and told by her captor about being infected with the virus, and that she's to be used as bait to find her master. That night she begins to have visions of Valek catching a train to a small church in the desert. While using the bathroom, she has another vision of him killing Mrs. Fisher and kidnapping Father Molina from the church. To end the headaches, she tries to leap out the window, but Montoya manages to save her and pull her back through cutting his arm in the process. The vamp's urges make Katrina grab it and start sucking, then snaps out of it and starts throwing the blood up. A confused and angry Montoya knocks her unconscious and puts a lighter to the wound to hopefully prevent infection. Meanwhile, Jack goes to a local church and has his wounds treated by the priest, then goes directly to his employer's house to ask Cardinal Alba for further instructions. He meets the church's keeper of archives, Father Adam, for the first time, who produces a portrait of Valek and asks to identify if that's the master who attacked them. It was found 3 days ago along with the corpse of Jack's European counterpart and his slaughtered team. Adam reveals that Valek was a priest from the 13th century who was burned at the stake for heresy. However, he returned from the grave and is suspected to be the original vampire that all others are born of. Alba tells Jack that the Vatican want him to rebuild his team before going after Valek, and that Adam will be replacing Gio as their priest in the field. This doesn't sit right with Jack, who believes someone in the church set his team up, which is how Valek knew his name. He abides by the church's orders, but pulls up after a few miles down the road and beats Adam while demanding to know who's the rat. The young priest claims to have no clue, so they get back on the road like nothing happened. Jack explains the nuances of being a slayer and produces a map of all vampire encounters in the area since the 1800s. A spiraling pattern suggests that they've been searching for something for centuries, which Jack suspects to be an unholy artifact of a black cross that he heard of when he was younger. The two get to the hotel and hear everything that happened from Montoya, though he leaves out the part about the vampire bite and only mentions the glass cutting him. Adam wants to report back on the kidnapped girl, but Jack knocks him down again, telling him that's not how we do things. Katrina's next vision shows Valek getting directions from Melina, which he seemingly gives, before decapitating him, to be found the next morning by local authorities. The visions eventually reveal the county that the master's searching, so Adam uses a list of all the churches in the area to pinpoint the location. Posing as an investigator for the Catholic Church solving hate crimes, Jack goes over Mrs. Fisher's body to find that Valek didn't drink a drop. They're taken to the second crime scene, where Melina lays separated from his head but also with no bites. Sensing that the priest's hiding something, Jack corners Adam and begins interrogating him at knife point for answers. When Adam says that he refuses to believe that the hunter would kill a priest, Jack admits to slaying his own father when he became a vampire and killed his mother. Adam confesses that the Black Cross was originally created to destroy Valek's soul, but it instead did the reverse, leaving his body dead but the man living on as the first vampire created by the church. He's shown to now have 7 more vampires, all masters, who rise alongside him at sundown. Adam reveals that he recently discovered that Melina was the only person on Earth who knew of the cross's location, a small Spanish monastery that the vampires currently have under siege. They break the door down and begin to slaughter the priests with no regard for invitations or crosses, where inside a small chapel Valek finds the Black Cross he's been searching for. With the priest's confession, Jack now trusts him completely, and the 4 track the vampires down to the monastery using Katrina's psychic connection. They find the slaughtered holy men and cross already missing, prompting an argument between the 2 frustrated friends. Jack contemplates killing Katrina before she bites them, but Montoya criticizes the mistreatment of her, having grown fond of her. Attempting to intervene, Adam's easily pushed to the ground before finally revealing Valek's intentions for the cross. He wants to finish the exorcism that left him vulnerable to sunlight, in which they'll then have the impossible task of slaying a daywalker, which will destroy their rule number 10 that you never hunt a master at night. They're led by Katrina to a small town called Santiago, which usually has about 30 residents but is now deserted. Assuming they've all been converted into vampires, they pull up out front of the jailhouse, where Katrina says she can sense the masters inside. Leaving their guide handcuffed to Montoya's jeep, the 3 slayers gear up and enter to begin luring out the vampires. 2 goons jump the priest, as I guess he looks the weakest, but Montoya impales one with a spear and throws it outside into the sunlight, destroying her. The other almost bites Adam but is shot in the back by Jack's crossbow and held back, allowing the holy man to get his first vampire kill by running a stake through his heart. With everything that's happened, the priests now earn Jack's respect, who's calling him Padre like he would his friend Gio before him. Seeing the rest of the vampires on the security cameras, they come up with a plan to use Adam as bait. With Montoya on the winch and Jack the crossbow, Adam attracts another master onto the elevator to bring up to the hunters, but it makes it through the hatch with him. Instead of a vampire waiting in the elevator, Jack finds it on the roof battling Adam and drags it back through the hatch. He retrieves the crossbow and sends the cable through the creature, then holds the doors open for Montoya to reverse it into the sunlight. A second master attacks them on the prison floor and is quickly shot with a second cable, but the creature breaks it. By the time Montoya repairs it, Jack's restraining the vampire by hand and gets dragged outside with her. Adam throws him a stake and he manages to stick it in the heart, allowing him to separate before he combusts alongside it. With the sun setting, Montoya takes Katrina and leaves, intending to finish the job tomorrow, but Jack and Adam have left it too long and don't get out in time before the rest of the masters awake. Valek leaps at Jack while all of the converted townspeople spill out behind the other masters and chase the priest behind a counter, where he later finds a loaded shotgun. Instead of killing the slayer, the vampire lord just beats him up and ties him to the front of a truck to reveal Cardinal Alba as the traitor. He's helping Valek search for the cross in exchange for immortality, and requires the sacrifice of a crusader to complete the ritual. Meanwhile, the newly converted call girl attacks Montoya and instantly bites into his neck, then leaves him to die on the side of the road while walking back to Santiago and her new nest. Valek jokingly remarks that Jack's friend's now a creature of the night just like Katrina, but Montoya's shown once again slowing the rate of infection by shooting off a few rounds with his gun and sterilizing the wound with a hot barrel. The ceremony begins and Jack's crucified, with his blood taken by Alba and fed to Valek. Intending to kill the hunter the moment the sun rises to complete the ritual, Adam with no hesitation shoots the Cardinal dead with a single shot to the spine. Being the only priest that can finish the ceremony, Adam turns the gun on himself, threatening to pull the trigger, as Valek in turn threatens to set Jack on fire should he not. Having been watching everything from nearby, Montoya speeds onto the scene and fires a cable into the cross, then violently yanks it out and drags Jack along the road with the winch. He picks up the shotgun priest, who cuts Jack free, and they survive just long enough to delay the ceremony until the sun rises. Most of the vamps make it inside the prison, albeit a little crispy, but Valek's chased into a warehouse outside by himself. Jack pursues him inside with the cross to confront him, but Valek foolishly leaps at him, landing on the pointy side of the Black Cross spear. It misses the heart and Jack's knocked away by the master, who begins pulling it out unfazed. So noticing the sun shining through the dilapidated ceiling, Jack tackles out a pillar, causing the roof to collapse and bathing the vampire in sunlight. He catches fire and bursts into flames before exploding in a rather abrupt ending to such a powerful villain. Unfortunately, the curse doesn't end with Valek, so Montoya puts Katrina in the back of a truck and intends to leave with her before he completely vamps out. The now hardened priest refuses to let him leave, but Jack tells Adam to put the gun down and steps between them. The hunter's rule number one's that you never let a bitten partner live, and Jack fully intends to kill Montoya, but he admits to being bitten on the arm 2 days prior. Since he still looked out for him, Jack gives his friend a 2-day head start, after which both him and Adam will come hunting them down. They say their goodbyes and the vampire couple depart, as the Slayers return to the prison to finish off the remaining masters. And the movie ends. So you made it. I appreciate your time. I couldn't have done it without you. Tell your mother I said thanks.